Hello everyone, my name is Sniping is Fun, and welcome all of you back to the 5th official character on my series of videos detailing Sniping is Fun's Super Smash Bros. 5 character speculation. This time we are talking about one of the Donkey Kong characters that everyone wants to see, Dixie Kong. And like always, in my videos, I talk about 3 different categories in this. 1, why does the character make sense to be in Smash Bros? 2, what are moveset ideas I can come up with, and basic at least. 3, what is the percentage chance that I could see them getting in the game? Why does Dixie Kong make sense? She's iconic. She's been in the Donkey Kong franchise since Donkey Kong Country 2, right? Yeah, Donkey Kong Country 2. She was the major character in Donkey Kong Country 3, and she made a debut with Diddy Kong in Donkey Kong Country 2. All the way back in the Super Nintendo in the early mid-90s. She's one of the more popular Kongs in the Donkey Kong Country franchise. And she's made a lot of cameos and spin-offs outside of it. She showed up in different like Mario sports games and Mario spin-offs and different little things here and there over the time. She's iconic to the series since the inception of the Country series, basically, not the original, that's where Diddy came in, but since the second one, and that second one's like the most popular of them all, she's been in practically a lot of different games since then, and she's made her return to the Donkey Kong Country franchise, not in Donkey Kong Country Returns, but in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Wii U, which is now getting a Switch version, so it makes it even more relevant now. Not only did she make her return in a recent game, that recent game is getting re-released on the current generation Nintendo console that this Smash Bros. Is coming out on, so it makes her even more relevant now. Even though they're pushing Funky Kong and everything, she made a return there alongside Cranky Kong. Was one of the playable characters in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Wii U and now Switch, and there it is. She has popularity in demand, and like I mentioned before, I don't value that stuff over recency and relevancy and push from Nintendo and whatnot. But I do think popularity and demand have their own importance, just not as important as relevancy, recency, how pushed the character in the franchise is by Nintendo. And like I said, she's made her spin-off. She showed up in appearances here and there, even though not the main main Donkey Kong series really since the Country series, the original 3 on the Super Nintendo. She has showed up on small little Donkey Kong games here and there since then, little cameos, trophies, and music and whatnot in Smash Brothers. And I guess I could add this in there too. I didn't really intend to talk about it on here, but she was at least in that missing 7 characters from Brawl thing, where it was rumored that she was going to be in it. I don't know if that was true or not. I never really looked into that back then. But there you go. She has a chance. At least she had a chance. She had a chance, I guess, back then, and that means she has more of a chance now. Because back when during Brawl came out, she wasn't really all that relevant like a Diddy Kong was, enough to be into the Smash Bros. Series, and Donkey Kong obviously was still relevant like all the time. But she made her return relevancy during the time of Smash Bros. 4. She could have been in Smash Bros. 4. She didn't, so there's now the next chance to do it. So basically, I'm essentially saying she's a long-standing, iconic character in the Donkey Kong Country franchise since the second one on the Super Nintendo. She's made numerous appearances since then on little cameos in like Mario sports games and whatnot. And she made a return to the Donkey Kong Country series on the Tropical Freeze one, which was on the Wii U, which is now being released on the Switch, which is the system this Smash Bros. Game is coming out on. So she's really relevant and recent and has the popularity and demand. And she's basically always made like little cameos in Smash Bros. Too, like as a trophy and everything and whatnot. So there you go. There's at least some sort of Smash Bros. Continuity with her as well. And she was going to technically be in Brawl as far as I know. Or at least she was rumored. So there you go with that. Moveset ideas. This is the second category. I really don't know too much like how I would differentiate her from, Diddy Kong. I know there's a big major difference there too. But in terms of smash attacks, I mean, not saying a special. I know a special is very different. But smash attacks, I would make her not a Diddy clone, but have similar Diddy, like how Diddy does his twirls and his rolls and kicks and, little like monkey things, I would make Dixie Kong kind of do that, where she twirls around the stage and rolls and kind of runs into opponents and stuff like that. Her special attacks will be where I feel she's kind of unique, because then I know she can twirl her hair, float in this, in this air, and she has a guitar, so you can use guitar attacks. You can use her twirling of her hair to whip her opponents and whatnot. You know, and little things like that. That would be her special. That would differentiate her from like the peanut gun and stuff like that from Diddy Kong. Her smash attacks would be similar to Diddy for like twirls, rolls, and stuff like that. But her special attacks would be what differentiates her from Diddy Kong, with the use of her hair, whipping it, flying in the sky like a helicopter, and using her guitar. So that's where I think she would at least be unique and different from him. In terms of a final smash, I'm actually surprised none, like Diddy Kong never even did this. They gave him the peanut gun, which I guess makes sense to be him, because that's kind of like his major thing in the Donkey Kong games. But in the main Donkey Kong Country games back then, and even now, there were animal buddies. They were animal buddies that you could ride or play as and whatnot. And I think hers should be either summoning a stampede of the enemy of the animal buddies to storm the stage and ramp and make a big ruckus and run over opponents and hit them and do all like cause chaos on the stage. Or she rides one of them and you can control her flying across the stage like Supersonic or whatnot and attacking them. Like, because in like Donkey Kong Country 3, I think there was like an elephant. You could elephant stomp the stage, or a bird you could fly around and like pick people up and knock them in the air and stuff like that. Something with the animal buddies I would think be her best bet for a final smash, because that's something from the Donkey Kong Country series that has yet to really even be in Smash Brothers. They didn't even got those animal buddies as assist trophies, which really surprises me that none of them have really been made assist trophies. So I would give that to her as a final smash. That'll be her big main final smash. She'll be differentiated through the guitar and use of her hair for her specials. She'll be similar on smash attacks to Diddy, but not majorly. And that's kind of where I would pick her, you know, for a moveset. The third one, percentage. I know she's really relevant now alongside Cranky and Funky and whatnot, and I know that could be a major thing. I basically said that was a major reason for why I think she could be in the game, through the likes of, you know, being in Tropical Freeze. That game's now being ported to the Switch, and she's still utilizing little spin-offs for the Mario series and other spin-offs from Nintendo and whatnot, and Donkey Kong and everything. But I'm going to give her, and I don't know if people will be mad at me for this, because it's still a pretty decently high percentage, I'm giving Dixie Kong a 75%. Because I think she's still relevant now, but it's kind of like the Paper Mario situation. If they wanted to add her, they would have already. And it feels like that is what's hurting her, in my opinion, is if they wanted to add her, they would have in Smash 4. They would have in Brawl. They would have already, and they haven't yet. I'm not saying that totally cuts her out or Paper Mario out or whatnot, but it's like, it feels like they would have added her by now if she was really that important to add. And she is important to add. I'm not saying she's not a major character in the Donkey Kong franchise, but I think they would have added her by now. And also, I think the competition for the next Donkey Kong character, if and when that ever happens, is pretty neck and neck right now between Cranky Kong, Dixie Kong, and Funky Kong, who all made the return in Tropical Freeze. And people are still asking for King K. Rool, which I'm not denying he doesn't have a chance either, but he's also kind of less relevant than them, and all he really has going for him is popularity and demand. And as I've stated, I don't value that over relevancy, recency, and how heavily pushed the character and franchise are by Nintendo. If someone's intending to bring King K. Rool back to Donkey Kong, that he might have a higher chance. But right now it's between Cranky Kong, Funky Kong, and Dixie Kong, and they're all pretty much in the same boat because of their return, Tropical Freeze and whatnot. And they're all more minor characters compared to even Diddy Kong, so go with it as you will. I'm giving her a 75% because she still stands a chance, and she's still relevant enough now to be included because of the port of Tropical Freeze to the Nintendo Switch. But you can go either way with a Donkey Kong Newcomer unless someone really stands out, like these Dixie Kong, Funky Kong, and stuff like that can be super, super heavily pushed even more, or they make a new character out of the blue and it's just a new villain character, a new hero character that just stands above all the rest. I don't really know the next Donkey Kong character. It's kind of a gamble at this point, but Dixie Kong I think makes at least some sense. And that is my opinion on my fifth character on this list, Dixie Kong, her percentage, her moveset, and why I feel she makes sense to be put in. Put in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys agree with me or disagree with me? What percentage chance do you think she stands to be in Smash Bros. 5? What reasons do you think she makes sense to be in? What moveset would you give her? Because you probably think of a more original one than I did. Because, I mean, I'm not super familiar with her. I grew up playing the Donkey Kong Country games, but I never really played 3 all that much. I played more of 1 and 2, and I haven't even got to Tropical Freeze yet. Yeah, I'm kind of behind on that. But I know about the hair twirling and the guitar and stuff like that, because like I said, I played 2. But I'm not super familiar how I can differentiate her from Diddy Kong all that much. But yeah, that's my video. Put in the comments what you guys think, and I'll stay tuned for the continuation on this with my 6th official character, and I'll give you a bit of a spoiler on it. It is a dragon-type villain that everyone's been asking for in Smash Brothers since frickin' forever, and there's quite an obvious reason why they probably might never actually be in. That might have given them a reason. I mean, that might give you give it away for you guys, but stay tuned for the 6th official character in that spoiler and that hint. And I'll see you all later in the next video, and let's keep this going and nominate and name more characters I speculate could be in Smash Bros. 5. See ya!